Okay, I'm gonna get straight to the point. Please stop having babies by men who have not married you. And here is why. There is no way for you to know for sure that that man has pure intentions. There's no way for you to know for sure that that man is not going to use the blessings that you gave him in the form of a child, in the form of, because sometimes that child brings other energies into his life. It might bring other women. You might be putting other women in a position, because naturally when we see a man taking care of you know his child, even if he's a single dad or whatever, you guys aren't together, like a man just being nurturing or whatever, naturally we want to go towards that man. And you could be potentially setting up other women to go through heartache and to go through all of these different kind of things. And I'm not saying this to say that you shouldn't, because maybe, and that's why there are women out here who just had babies by these men and all these different things come about. It's because that's what was meant to happen. You were there to teach you were there learning a lesson. So was he. And everybody that gets attracted to him with the baby that you guys made is also there to learn a lesson from you guys, and vice versa. And so it's going to attract who it needs to attract, right? So I'm not saying to not do it, because I don't want to impede on anybody's free will. I just want everybody to be aware. I keep saying this. Be aware that there are different options, there are different perspectives. Be in control of what you want. Don't look for somebody else to be in control. If what you want is to be married and in a committed relationship, and and in a stable family where there's a mother and a father in the house and the kids are being raised traditionally, if that is what you want, you need to do it the correct way, which is waiting until he marries you to have his child. Because if you go ahead and you do that out of order, because you're grown, because you want to rebel against the church, you want to rebel against what your parents said, you think you know everything, you think you know what's best for you, then go ahead. But understand that it opens you up. Now, doing it that route can totally end up the right way. Totally. We see evidence of that all the time. But does that mean that it's still not, like, the way that we've been taught is correct is not correct? It doesn't negate the fact that doing it the way that we've been taught protects us, especially women. It protects us. And I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in all of that kind of stuff. I don't read the Bible. I don't any of that. I just have my relationship with a higher power. Sometimes I call it God. Sometimes I call it spirit. Sometimes I call it the Most High. Sometimes I call it myself. It doesn't matter who or what I call it, or who or what anybody else calls it. All that matters is that that is there for a reason. The correct way to do things is there for a reason. There's a reason why it has been offered to us as the correct way. And yes, people have used it to manipulate. And yes, people have used it to lie. And yes, those people who have told us that that's the correct way have lied to us. And that's because they're human. That's because they have their own lessons to learn. That does not negate the fact that what they said is the truth. Everything that people say has a layer of truth to it. We just have to figure out what that truth is. And so this whole waiting until you're married thing, it's not because you're a Christian that you should wait. It's not because you subscribe to a certain religion. It's not because your mom and your dad and your grandparents told you. It's not because society tells you. It is because it protects you. And because you're smart, because you're a woman who understands the power of her womb and how important it is to protect herself, her nature, and her womb and the offspring that she brings into this life. It's her responsibility to protect all of those things. Waiting until he makes a commitment is going to be the best, safest way for you. You want to go off the beaten path and go over here and take your chances, then just understand that that's your choice. You can make whatever choice you want to make. Again, I'm not here to impede on anybody's free will. Just understand that the beaten path is the safest. Somebody went down there, they cleared all of the rocks out of the way. Most likely, there's not going to be any animals all over the place. There's not going to be things that are going to cut you. You don't need to, it's less fun. It's less exciting because somebody else has been down that way, but it is safer. So understanding when to take the safe path and when not to. When there's a lot at stake, you want to take the safe path. When we're talking about protecting your legacy, protecting your womb, protecting your nature, protecting yourself, protecting your family, looking out for the next generation, making sure that what it is that you want, you truly want, comes to fruition, straight and narrow. We got to go down the beaten path. Now, when it comes to learning your lessons and stepping outside of your comfort zone and pushing boundaries and figuring things out and learning the right way to go, that's when you go off in the bushes and you go figure it out. But not when it comes to other people's life. When we're dealing with other people's life, you have to do it. You have to be a little bit more considerate. You can't be all over the place with it. Okay? So I just it bothers me because I don't, and I hope with this video that's the whole purpose of making the video. So I'm not even gonna say why it bothers me. I'm not even gonna get into all of that. Just please be mindful. Please be mindful, because I've met so many men who have no business with children in this world. None whatsoever. And the amount of destruction that they create because some woman was not mindful enough, not aware enough of her power and her responsibilities, gave him that gift and he didn't earn it. And guess what he's going to do with that? Because men who are given things, people, anybody who's given something that they didn't earn, they exploit it. They use it. They feel entitled. They create all kinds of destructive behaviors and situations and scenarios. Because guess what? Listen, I'm gonna share this with you guys. I have said in another video that there's a 0 point whatever chance of me ever getting pregnant. That's because I've protected my womb. My womb has been protected since I was a child with certain spells. Certain spells have people who cared for me. My spirit guides protected my womb with a certain spell, and then they made me aware of that spell. Listen, some people might not believe that, but I'm going to speak to it. I'm going to speak about it in that spiritual way, and then I'm going to bring it down to the 3D and tell you guys what I mean. So from a spiritual standpoint, there was a spell cast on my womb that protects it from certain things until I come to an awareness where I am right now, and I'm able to protect it from myself. And then maybe I will bring a child into this world, but I'm meant to bring in a specific child. And there are specific circumstances and things that need to be in alignment for that child to be able to come into this world. So that's why I don't have kids. And that's why I say there's a 0 point whatever chance. Because if you're not him, you're not getting me pregnant. You're not getting a baby from me. If you're not my husband, you're not getting a baby. Point blank, period. And so that's why I speak the way that I speak. And then so let's look at it from a 3D perspective. Because thoughts create reality, I've always thought in my head, I'm not a baby mama. I'm not anybody's baby mom. I'm not anybody's thing to play with. That's what I've always thought in my head. I don't want to be a baby's mom. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my children. And that's always been my thought pattern. And so thoughts create reality. That's why I know that there's no possibility of a man ever getting me pregnant who does not have the correct intentions for me. And that's why I could say to certain men, there's no way you can get me pregnant. As women, we have to use our power in that same fashion. We have to be understanding of that's what it is. Okay, guys? I'm seriously, I'm talking to you serious now because it needs to, like I said before, men are getting out of hand and somebody needs to reel them back in and make them aware of what the situation is. You are not, and then I was on like some post the other day and some man was talking to some woman talking about I chose you to take care of my house and to have my kids, like almost in a sense of like you should be happy that I chose you. Like these men are and I know it's not every man. I know that it's not every man. But some of these men are entitled. Some of these men need to go sit down somewhere. Because first of all, where did you ever get the idea that that you're not the one that needs me? Where did you ever get that idea? I have a womb. I can create whatever I want to create. You don't. So you need me. Let's be clear about this, ladies. That is a reason why he has sperm and we have a womb. We can create babies by ourselves. There is nothing they can create without us. They need us. And so they need to start understanding that, being humble about it, and sitting down and realizing that if they don't marry us and commit to us, they're not getting a child. These like it's getting out of hand. How are these men even, like some men I see with babies and they're on the videos and acting like a great dad, and if you look at the comments, oh, I know that you're such a great dad. You're so this, you're so that. And meanwhile, if you know these men personally, womanizers. They talk to women any kind of way, disrespect women up and down. But that's who you gave a child to. Come on, guys. And we don't realize it until it's too late. So I'm not completely blaming the women, but you have a responsibility too. We can't just play. We can't take on the victim role and allow him to be the perpetrator. Both of us are the perpetrators and both of us are the victims. We all are victims and perpetrators in these situations. Nobody's the victim and it's not one or the other. You put yourself in a position to be, you didn't, one, protect yourself, and two, I mean, come on, ladies, we gotta do better. We have to do better so that they can do better. We're the ones that created them. We created them in every sense of that word. We push them out, so physically we create them, emotionally we create them, spiritually, mentally we create them. There is nothing they can do, say, be, or create without us. And they know this, which is why they use our nature against us, and we can't allow it. We have to stop. We have to stop them. We cannot allow them to continue to use our nature against us. Okay, ladies and men out there who are in support of women, talk to your sisters and your friends and your mother and whoever you need to talk to. Make them aware of what their power is. Don't let these men, don't do it. Okay? All right. Till next time, be well.